Okay, we'll continue with this. I just mentioned about this verse. Atha cha enam nityajatam.
अथ च येनं नित्यजातं.
Because till now he has said it is not, it is nityam, it is ajatam. He has mentioned. That's why he says, even if you assume, he says, atha cha enam nityajatam.
अथश्च नेनं नित्यजातं.
नित्यं वा मन्यसे मृतं
नित्यं वा मन्यसे मृतं.
तथा अपि त्वं महाबाहो
तथा अपि त्वं महाबाहो
न एवं शोचितुम् अर्हसि.
न एवं शोचितुम् अर्हसि.
अथ चैनं नित्यजातम्
अथ चैनं नित्यजातं.
नित्यं वा मन्यसे मृतम्
नित्यं वा मन्यसे मृतं.
तथापि त्वं महाबाहो
तथापि त्वं महाबाहो
नैवं शोचितुमर्हसि.
नैवं शोचितुमर्हसि.
It is actually sort of a rhetorical question. Assuming, even if you assume, even if you consider the self to be constantly born and constantly dying, he's saying even if, because the self is not born, it does not die. He has already mentioned that. Now he's telling, just for argument's sake, even if you assume, even if you consider the self to be constantly born and to be constantly dying, nityam jatam, nityam mrutam, tata api, even then, tata api, O Mahabaho, O Arjuna, arhasi shochitum na eva. There is no reason for you to grieve. Why? He explains in the next verse again. So what he has mentioned is, it has been explained in the previous verses that the self is unchangeable, indestructible, eternal. It has no birth, it has no death. But Krishna says, like a professor in a class, just for argument's sake, as a layman who does not understand, who is not a great jnani, as a layman, if you consider or assume that the Atma is constantly born, constantly dying, Lord Krishna says, even then, there is no reason for grief. We should not grieve over inevitable death, because death is inevitable. Then why should you grieve? So this is, Krishna is giving a sort of a logical explanation to Arjuna. And immediate verse follows the same reason. Why he says, why you should not grieve. Even if you assume you are buying and dying and buying again and again, why do worry? Means, jatasya hi dhruvaha mrityuhu.
जातस्य हि ध्रुवो मृत्युः.
जातस्य हि ध्रुवः मृत्युः.
जातस्य हि ध्रुवः मृत्युः.
Because for a person who is born, death is inevitable. Jatasya means one who is born. Jatasya hi dhruvaha mrityuhu.
जातस्य हि ध्रुवः मृत्युः.
Dhruva means certain, inevitable. Dhruvam janma mrutasya cha.
ध्रुवं जन्म मृतस्य च.
A first person who has died, birth is inevitable. This is in a normal sense that if you don't get moksha, if you don't get liberation, if you don't qualify for liberation, then what happens is you are tied down in a cycle of birth and death. So it will continue, keep on coming continuously for a persons who have not yet reached the highest level. By what he says, jatasya hi dhruvo mrityuhu.
जातस्य हि ध्रुवो मृत्युः.
Dhruvam janma mrutasya cha.
ध्रुवं धर्म मृतस्य च.
Therefore, tasmat apariharyerthe arthe
तस्मात् अपहर्यार्थे अर्थे
अपरिहार्येर्थे, अपरिहार्थे, अपरिहार्थे means अपरिहार्थे, inevitable. तस्मात् अपरिहार्थे अर्थे,
तस्मात् परिहार्ये अर्थे
अपरिहार्थे अर्थे,
अपरिहार्थे अर्थे
clubbing together, अपरिहार्थेर्थे,
अपहर्यार्थे
तस्मादपरिहार्थेर्थे,
तस्मात् अपरिहार्यार्थे
हार्ये अर्थे, अपरिहार्येर्थे,
अपरिहार्येऽर्थे
न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि,
न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि
जातस्य हि ध्रुवो मृत्युः,
जातस्य हि ध्रुवो मृत्युः
ध्रुवं जन्म मृतस्य च,
ध्रुवं जन्म मृतस्य च
तस्मादपरिहार्थे, तस्मादपरिहार्येर्थे,
तस्मात् अपरिहार्येऽर्थे
न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि.
न त्वं शोचितुमर्हसि
Dhruvaha is certain indeed. Dhruvaha he is adding because indeed Dhruvaha he mrutyuhu jatasya. Death is certain for a person who is born because nobody can be immortal. This is a mistake all the asuras and rakshasas make. They try to please Brahma with thousands of years of penance and then ask him, make me immortal. Brahma says, I can do anything except make you immortal. Short of that, I'll give whatever you want. That's what they say. Certain indeed is death for the born. Similarly, certain is birth for the dead. For a person who has died, birth is inevitable. Again, one you have to understand the qualification. A person who qualifies for liberation, for him there is no birth, there is no death. That is called moksha, liberation. Getting liberated from this unending cycle of birth and death. That is moksha. Otherwise, you are a bandha, samsara bandha. We are bound by this samsara. Okay? Tasmat, therefore, arthe, in this matter of apariharye, in this matter of inevitability, tvam shochitum na hargasi. There is no meaning in your grieving. This is what Krishna has again repeated. Now, this is very interesting to see what is death. Just now, Katyani madam asked me. Now, what is death? Death is nothing but is one of the stages, one of the types of a modification. The human body undergoes 6 modifications: birth, infancy, childhood, youth, old age. Up to this, okay, we are no problem. Old age also we are prepared to accept. But death, no, it is red. I don't want. Why? Again birth. Again birth is coming. Why do you worry? For example, in the case of a day, we are dawn, morning, noon, evening, night. Again dawn, again morning, noon. Now, do we grieve over death of the day? We don't cry because night is coming, day has died. Nothing happens. Each state gives way to the next state. Like a seed sprouting into a sapling. Now, how does a sapling come? A sapling comes only when the seed sprouts. Means it's the death of the seed. Unless a seed is destroyed, a sapling will not come. Sapling slowly grows into a major tree and it decays. Again, it gives birth to so many seeds. So this is a continuous cycle. Therefore, this is represented by what you call cycle of creation. Creation, sustenance, and dissolution. Represented by, all of us know, Trimurti, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva. It is actually dissolution, not destruction. Pralaya. Laya means dissolve. Laya, pralaya. Dissolve means fully dissolving. It is a dissolution, not destruction, not vinasha. Pralaya. Sisti Sthiti, Layakarini, Lalita Devi. Sisti Sthiti Layakarini, Lalita Devi. So the three aspects are there. We have to understand and accept all three together as a package. If you don't do that, we get confused. Now, this is further elaborated by this. There's a word called, the Supreme is called unmanifestable. But human beings, we are manifestable. From birth to death, we are in a manifest state. So before birth, what was it? Before birth, where was I? I was not in nothingness. I was very much there before birth, but I was in an unmanifest state. Avyakta. What happens to me after death? I will not go to nothingness. I again become unmanifest. So these are three stages, inevitable. Unmanifest in the past, manifest now, and again unmanifest in the future. Then what is there to worry? This is what Krishna is asking this question again. Avyaktaadini bhutani
अव्यक्तादीनि भूतानि
vyakta madhyani bharata
व्यक्तमध्यानि भारत
avyakta nidhanani eva
अव्यक्तनिधनान्येव
avyakta nidhanan eva
अव्यक्तनिधनायेव
tatra ka paridevana.
तत्र का परिदेवना.
Now, O Bharata, O Arjuna, avyaktadini bhutani. Bhutani means all beings. All beings are unmanifest in the beginning. Avyaktadini bhutani. Vyakta madhyani. They are manifest only in the middle. Again, avyakta nidhanani eva. They again become unmanifest. Only during what we call a particular phase with which we understand, it is manifest. So he says, Tatra ka paridevana. In such a situation, what is there for you to grieve about? It's a very, very simple and powerful verse. So the best way to understand is to look at the ocean. The supreme reality, that is the Parabrahman, is like a vast ocean. The turbulent world are like the disturbances in the ocean surface. The living beings, we are like the waves. What happens? Waves arise from the ocean, exist for a very short while on the surface of the ocean, and what happens next? They again fall back into the very same ocean and disappear. So also the living beings manifest from their unmanifest state, exist for a very short while, and again revert back to the unmanifest state. So from birth till death only, the beings remain in the manifest state. No one knows from where, and no one knows to where. No one knows when or why of this cycle of birth and death began. Now, without knowing anything about this cosmic mystery, grieving on reverting back to the unmanifest state, Krishna says, is meaningless and futile. It is foolish. That's what Krishna says. You don't know anything. Then why do you grieve about this? All that is happening is from unmanifest state, from manifest state, you again go back to the unmanifest state. Maybe that is our original state. We don't know. Avyaktadini bhutani
अव्यक्तादीनि भूतानि
vyaktamadhyani bharata
व्यक्तमध्यानि भारत
avyakta nidhanan eva
अव्यक्तनिधनायेव
tatra ka paridevana.
तत्र का परिदेवना.
The next verse is also very interesting. Actually, I find every verse interesting and important. So here, what is happening is, now is the Supreme, Paramatma. You listen to it, you listen to discourses, everything. But have you really understood what is Atma? What is it? Very difficult. No, not possible. It always remains a source of wonder, ascharya. That is what it says. Ascharyavat pashyati kaschit enam.
आश्चर्यवत् पश्यति कश्चित्
Ascharyavat vadati tatha eva cha anyaha.
आश्चर्यवत् वदति तथैव च अन्यः
Tathaiva cha anyaha.
तदैवश्च अन्यः
Or if you are splitting, tatha eva cha anyaha.
तथा एवश्च अन्यः
Ascharyavat cha enam anyah shrunoti.
आश्चर्यवत् च एनम् अन्यः शृणोति
Shrutva api enam veda na cha eva kaschit.
श्रुत्वा अपि एनं वेद न च एव कश्चित्
Just see the meanings and come back. That will be very interesting. Kaschit pashyati enam ascharyavat. Kaschit means, say, one person. One person sees the self as a wonder. If we are looking from the eyes, we see the self is something wonder. Because I really cannot see the Supreme Being. I can see only what is imaginary, what I visualize to be a murti or a painting I can see. But can I really go behind the painting and see the Paramatma? I cannot see because this is source of wonder. Why I cannot see? I wonder. One person sees the self as a wonder. Tatha eva, in the same manner, anyaha, another person, vadati ascharyavat, speaks of it as a wonder. And a third person, a third, anyaha, shrunoti enam ascharyavat. He hears about it as a wonder. But kaschit shutva api, even after hearing Veda evam na eva, really nobody knows. That is the mystery of the Supreme Being. The Self, the Atman, the Supreme is present everywhere. We have been told by Shastras, the Supreme is present everywhere. But the problem is our senses cannot perceive. I cannot see with the eyes. I cannot hear with the ear. I cannot touch with my senses. I may not be able to feel it with my mind, limited mind. I cannot conceive with a limited intellect because the self is beyond the reach of our body, our mind, and our intellect. The problem is we try to reach it with our material equipments, fail. Because we fail, we are filled with wonder. We are filled with ascharya. So we do hear about God from learned persons, read from scriptures. Still, we are filled with wonderment. What this is. God remains a mystery. God remains an unknown entity. But we have to simply accept that God is everywhere. Where? God is there in everything, big and small, grand and ordinary, in the mighty Himalayas as well as in a blade of grass. That is why, if you read Vibhuti Yoga, chapter 10, Krishna keeps on explaining, I am there, I am the Himalayas in the mountains, I am the Naga, I am the Ananta. He gives, I think, almost 78 examples he gives to make us understand what the Supreme Being is. Because Supreme you cannot see, but you can see. You can see a mountain, you can see a river. I am the river, I am Ganges among the rivers. I am Himalaya among the mountains. So I am Meru among mountains. He gives so many examples are giving. I am Gajendra, I am Airavata among elephants, I am Garuda among the birds. So many examples are given to make us understand. And finally he says, I am Krishna among the Yadavas. He tells Arjuna, I am Arjuna among the Pandavas. And what more do you want? He's telling you, you are nothing but the Supreme. You understand? You yourself are the God. Don't have to go and search anywhere. That is what he's trying to do. If you search, you will never get him. You accept it, you get it. So we can see God in everyday sequence. We can see the Supreme in the sunrise. That is why we do Surya Namaskara, because we are able to see God there. We are able to see God in every living being. That is the Hindu Sanskriti. When you say Namaskara, when you see a human being, we always say Namaskara. So that Namaskara, you are not making only to the person before you, but you are making Namaskara to the Supreme Being in the other person. Namaha, you are telling him. So we see God in everything, even inanimate, in ordinary things. Everywhere we are able to see God. We can see God in a plant. We can God in a tree. We can see in a tulsi leaf. We can see in a Nagadevata. We can see Gomata. Everywhere, Ganga. Everywhere you can see. Or we can see in the Bharat Mata, in the country itself you can see. So that's the only way you can see God, not touch it, feel it, etc. So this is what it says. Now try to read the verse together. Ascharyavat pasyati kaschidenam.
आश्चर्यवत् पश्यति कश्चिदेनम्
Ascharyavat pasyati kaschidenam.
आश्चर्यवत् पश्यति कश्चिदेनम्
Ascharyavat vadati tathaiva chanyah.
आश्चर्यवत् वदति तथैव च अन्यः
Tathaiva chanyah. I'm reading the blue. Ascharyavat vadati tathaiva chanyah.
आश्चर्यवत् वदति तथैव च अन्यः
आश्चर्यवश्चैन मन्यः शृणोति.
आश्चर्यवत् च एनम्
आश्चर्यवश्चैन मन्यः शृणोति.
आश्चर्यवत् च एनम्
Don't
अन्यः
break there.
शृणोति
Don't break there. If you break, you hear आश्चर्यवच्चैनम. You can break here. आश्चर्यवश्चैनम अन्यः शृणोति. You can break here. Or otherwise, read continuously. आश्चर्यवश्चैनमन्यः शृणोति. Give a pause after अन्यः, not before that. आश्चर्यवश्चैनमन्यः शृणोति.
आश्चर्यवत् च एनम् अन्यः शृणोति
श्रुत्वा एनं वेद न चैव कश्चित्.
श्रुत्वापि एनं वेद न च एव कश्चित्
సారీ అన్నపూర్ణ గారు, మిమ్మల్ని ఒక్కనే ట్రబుల్ చేస్తున్నాను, బట్ అస్యూమ్ అదర్స్ ఆర్ ఏబుల్ టు రిపీట్ ఎట్ దేర్ అండ్ వితౌట్ ఆల్దో ఇన్ ఎ మ్యూట్ మోడ్. ది లాస్ట్ వెర్స్ టుడే. దేహి నిత్యం అవధ్యః అయం.
దేహి నిత్యం అవధ్యః అయం
దేహి నిత్యమవధ్యః అయం.
దేవి నిత్యం అవధ్యః అయం
Actually, avadya ayam means avadhyoyam.
అవధ్యోయం
Nityam avadhya. All put together. Dehi nityam avadhyoyam.
దేహి నిత్యం అవధ్యోయం
Dehe sarvasya bharata.
దేహే సర్వస్య భారత
Tasmat sarvani bhutani.
తస్మాత్ సర్వాణి భూతాని
Natvam shochitum-arhasi.
నత్వం శోచితుమర్హసి
Dehi nityam avadhyoyam.
దేహి నిత్యమవధ్యోయం
Dehe sarvasya bharata.
దేహే సర్వస్య భారత
Tasmat sarvani bhutani.
తస్మాత్ సర్వాణి భూతాని
Natvam shochitum-arhasi.
నత్వం శోచితుమర్హసి.
O Bharata, O Arjuna, I am the embodied, the Atma, the self, indweller. Lot of names are there. In the bodies of all is ever indestructible. So let's Arjuna mistake that he is telling only about Arjuna or one person. Dehi is singular. It is the same supreme consciousness, Chetanatvam, one single indivisible consciousness which is there in all the beings. Bodies are many. Dehas are many, but Dehi, the indweller, is only one. The same indweller is present in everybody. That is what it says. The indweller in the bodies of all, Sarvasya Dehe, is always indestructible. Indestructible not for a moment. Nityam Avadhyaha is always indestructible. Then why do you worry? The supreme power, the supreme Atma, which is there in you, which is there in your brother Bhima, Nakula, Arjuna, Yudhishthira, or same it is there in Bhishma, Drona, Duryodhana, and everybody. The same Atma is there in everybody. That Atma which is there in every being, including your soldiers, including the horses and chariots, horses and elephants, etc., in the battlefield, the Atma by itself is indestructible. Therefore, you should not grieve. You should not grieve for any creature, not A, B, C. You don't have to grieve for any creature because no, the Atma present in every creature is indestructible. This is the final message which Krishna is giving here. With this verse, this sermon about the second segment, indestructibility of the self, which is our real identity, concludes in this verse. The sermon began in verse 11 with the statement that the wise do not grieve for the living or for the dead. After giving elaborate reasons and explanations and examples repeatedly in this segment of chapter 2, from both the philosophical point of view and also a common man's, layman's personal point of view, Krishna concludes by saying that the self is ever indestructible. So there is no reason for you to grieve. Therefore, one should not grieve for any person. The self residing in all the beings is one and the same. It is indestructible. It exists eternally. The same supreme being, supreme Atma, is present in everybody. So don't have to worry. This is what he says. Dehi nityam avadhyoyam
Dehi nityam avadhyoyam
Dehe sarvasya bharata
Dehe sarvasya bharata
Tasmat sarvani bhutani
Tasmat sarvani bhutani
Natvam shochitum arhasi.
Sattvam sochitumarhasi.
Okay. So we'll stop here. But I can assure you, the most difficult segment we have completed today. The verses from now onwards will not be as difficult. So I'm telling you, please don't get, if you are finding difficult to pronounce also, please don't get discouraged. It's only up to you. You can do it, that's all, nothing else. Not for anybody to worry. So with this, we'll conclude this particular segment now.